There's a reason most people think stopping drinking has to be a battle. They picture years of craving, saying no to nights out, fighting urges, counting days, and it's no wonder. That's what the world has told them. That quitting alcohol has to hurt. That it's supposed to feel like losing something. But what if I told you there's another way? A way that doesn't rely on willpower, punishment, or pretending. A way that actually feels easy. Now, before you roll your eyes, let me say this. I used to think that was impossible too. For nearly a decade, I tried to stop drinking. AA, meetings, therapy, books, rules, promises, guilt, all of it. And every time I failed, I thought it meant there was something wrong with me. But the truth is, I just didn't understand what I was really fighting. Because once you understand what alcohol actually is, how it really works, and what's really going on inside your mind when you drink, stopping becomes the most natural decision in the world. These are the 3 secrets nobody ever tells you. And if you stay with me, by the end of this video, you'll see exactly why, once you understand them, you'll never have to try to stop drinking again. So let's start with the first thing no one ever explains. The single reason why quitting always felt like a struggle in the first place. When I was drinking, I believed alcohol helped me. That it helped me relax, socialize, switch off, cope. But the secret nobody tells you is this. Alcohol isn't solving your problems. It's quietly creating them, then selling you temporary relief from the pain it caused. That's the game. You drink to escape the stress. But that stress only exists because alcohol's already disrupted your brain chemistry. You drink to feel confident, but it's alcohol that made you anxious in the first place. You drink to sleep, but it's alcohol that destroyed your sleep quality to begin with. It's like setting fire to your own house just so you can feel proud of putting out the flames. And once you see that, something shifts. You start realizing that alcohol never actually gave you relaxation or confidence. It rented it to you at interest. And every hangover, every regret, every restless night was the bill coming due. This is why stopping feels hard for most people. Not because it is hard, but because they're still clinging to the belief that alcohol gives them something valuable. The moment you see through that illusion, it's not about resisting temptation anymore. It's about walking away from a bad deal. And here's where the second secret starts to unfold. Because even when people realize alcohol is a scam, most of them still get trapped by something deeper. Something that keeps them drinking even after they've decided to quit. When I finally stopped, I realized the real prison wasn't the alcohol. It was my identity. For years, I called myself a drinker. Even when I tried to quit, that identity was still running in the background. I'm a drinker trying not to drink. And that's why every attempt failed. Because if you still believe you are something, your mind will eventually return to it. The second secret is this. You can't quit drinking by fighting your behavior. You quit by changing who you believe you are. Every drinker has built their life around alcohol, their social circles, their routines, their sense of fun, even their sense of self. So when they try to remove it, it feels like removing a part of themselves. That's why they relapse, or they're trying to survive without their old identity instead of creating a new one. The moment I stopped seeing myself as a drinker in recovery and started seeing myself as a non-drinker, as someone who simply doesn't drink, the way I don't smoke or don't inject heroin, everything got easy. Because your brain loves consistency. Once your identity aligns with your choice, there's no battle left to fight. That's why you don't have to stay strong around alcohol anymore. You're not the kind of person who drinks. You're not giving something up. You're just being who you are. But here's the twist. Even when people figure that out, there's one last illusion that tries to pull them back. The most seductive one of all. It's the lie that alcohol makes life better, that without it, things will be dull, serious, or boring, that life will lose its spark. That's the third secret, the biggest of them all. And if you understand it properly, you'll never crave a drink again. See, Alcohol doesn't add excitement to your life. It just lowers your baseline so that ordinary things stop feeling good, and then gives you a tiny chemical spike to make up for it. It's like dimming the lights in your house, then lighting a candle and calling it magic. When you drink, your brain floods with dopamine. It feels like fun, connection, relief. But what you don't notice is that your brain compensates by producing less dopamine on its own the next day. So every sober moment feels slightly gray, slightly flat. That's why drinkers think life without alcohol will be boring, because alcohol made life boring. It's the same trick every addictive substance plays. It creates the void, then convinces you that only it can fill it. But the moment you remove it completely, your dopamine system resets. Your brain starts to find pleasure in real things again. In laughter that isn't chemically forced, in sleep that actually restores you, in mornings that don't start with regret. And once you taste that, real joy, real peace, real energy, the idea of missing alcohol becomes absurd. That's why stopping becomes easy. Because the life you return to is infinitely better than the one you were trying to escape from. When people see me today, calm, confident, never craving a drink, they sometimes say, "You must have superhuman discipline." But discipline has nothing to do with it. What I have is understanding. And understanding dissolves the need for willpower. When you truly see alcohol for what it is, a toxic, anxiety-inducing, sleep-wrecking, illusion-selling drug, you don't have to resist it. You simply outgrow it. That's the real secret. Freedom doesn't come from trying harder. It comes from seeing clearer. And once you do, every part of your life expands. You stop asking, "How do I stay sober?" and start asking, "What else can I build now that I'm free?" And that's the part nobody warns you about. The part that actually scares some people back into drinking. Because the moment you stop, you get your power back. You see what alcohol was really covering up, not just chemically, but emotionally. You start realizing how much potential, confidence, and creativity you'd been suppressing. And that can feel overwhelming at first, and because now there's no buffer, no escape, no excuse. It's just you and the life you've been avoiding. But that's the gift, because the real goal was never to quit drinking. It was to get yourself back. When I look back now, I don't see alcohol as something I gave up. I see it as something I escaped. And when I help clients do the same, I watch the same pattern play out over and over. The fear, the resistance, the identity shift, and then the quiet calm that follows once they realize they're free. Because freedom doesn't come with fireworks, it comes with peace. The first morning, you wake up clear and energized. The first night, you fall asleep without regret. The first moment, you realize you haven't thought about drinking in weeks. That's when you understand. This was never about alcohol. It was about the story alcohol made you believe. The story that you needed it to be confident, that you needed it to relax, that you needed it to belong. But once you stop believing that story, there's nothing left to crave, and that's why stopping becomes easy. Not because you changed who you are, but because you finally remembered who you were before alcohol ever got involved. Now, I know what you might be thinking. If it's that simple, if it's really just about understanding, why doesn't everyone see it this way? And that's where things get dark. Because the truth is, not everyone wants you to see it. The alcohol industry doesn't. The recovery industry doesn't. Even society doesn't. Because as long as you believe quitting has to be hard, you will keep needing products, programs, labels, and excuses. The system depends on your struggle. It profits from your confusion. And it disguises itself as help. That's why I say understanding is rebellion. Because the moment you see through the illusion, you become unprofitable to the entire system built around your pain. You stop buying, stop believing, stop needing permission to live your life on your terms. And that's where the real journey begins. The one after alcohol. The one where you start to notice things you couldn't see before, not just in yourself, but in the people around you, the ones who still look like they have it all together, successful, confident, in control. The ones who swear they're high-functioning. Because there's a secret hiding behind that too. One most people never talk about. And once you understand it, you'll never look at so-called functional drinking the same way again. So if you're ready to see what's really going on behind the mask, click the video on the screen now. What you'll learn there will change how you see every normal drinker you know, and maybe even how you see yourself.